I thought that South Africa was the reason why I'm suffering so badly. But this spate of harassment and abuse, attack, magnification of demonic activity in my family members, catalyzing it, increasing it above what it already was, came from an American man. So clearly there's a global problem with witchcraft. There's a global problem with lawlessness. But like I said, naked I came into this world, naked shall I exit. Indeed, nobody thinks they're going into heaven, even in the rapture, wearing their clothes. Hence why that show called Left Behind in the series, like they depict the rapture following it having happened, where people's clothes are like on the floor or whatever, because it is just thoroughly comprehended that our birthday suits is what under heaven it is that we enter the earth in and what we will exit the earth in, and so our clothes don't go with us. So indeed, I am about to get out, leaving my clothing down here below. I shall be robed in heaven, in the raiment of heaven, once we get there in the clouds. So until such time that in my nakedness I shall exit this earth through the rapture, how long will it take for Satan to be convinced thoroughly that I am not a fair weather disciple? Nobody really knows, because it is not clear in the scriptures how long Job suffered before God set him free out of the bondage that the devil forced him into. But it would be great to be given some kind of solace and understanding that this is a test and it's gonna end, and not so much just a never-ending perpetual operational suffering state that I am in, with there being no end in sight. My family members need to be handled. I've given them a shot and upon a shot and upon a shot. God himself has given him more shots than I frankly would have appreciated to give them. He has left me in this environment that they might be repentant, that they might do a 180 turn around against my own better desire. I wanted to get out of this long ago. I wanted to walk away from these fools long ago. I did. But the Lord was the one that was slow to anger and abounding in steadfast love for them. He kept me in their midst and said, do better, because you're being inhumane, you're insensitive. This is your own child, this is your own sister. What are you doing? This is your niece. What are you doing? This is your cousin. He gave them almost a decade. At what point shall I get out of this? At what point? There's only one way for these people to be handled. For me to be somebody else's somebody. I gotta be other people's somebody. They don't want me, so fine. One human being's trash is yet another human being's treasure. May I leave? Colorism is such a bad issue in the black community that when I was growing up, there's this one guy that I dated that, because I was darker in complexion, as opposed to a bright yellow bone, whether or not he imagined me pretty, if anything, the first thing that he said to me when he met me was, are you a model? So he clearly must have thought I was beautiful. Nonetheless, because I wasn't a yellow bone, he wasn't intending on making me he didn't want a serious relationship with me. He just wanted to hit it and quit it, okay? I could have been like maybe first or second year in university. I remember then one time going to visit this guy who was now my boyfriend, where he stayed, right? We spent the day together. When I was going home, still the same thing, went home, whatever, hugged him, got on the taxis. And then later on that evening, he calls me and he's like all upset. And I'm like, why are you upset? Why are you mad at me? Right? Not so much at me, but he was like, today, some friends of mine, like from around the hood, saw me walking you to the taxis, and they wouldn't stop rapping on about how beautiful you are, and I was just so irritated with them. And he basically gave himself away. I was like, why were you irritated with them? If they're praising your girlfriend, you've hit the jackpot, they approve, type thing. He was like, you wouldn't understand. Except I did understand. The fool literally confessed to me that you're not a yellow bone, I don't want to make you a matey, and I don't like that my boys think you're beautiful, because I wanted to just, after I get what I want from you, just like dump you, throw you to the side. That relationship did not last very long, because I realized he was just a shallow little twat that I could not take very seriously. But the thing that happened with that ex-boyfriend, where it is that because of validation from his friends, he struggled to, grapple the fact that he had a woman that he wanted to let go of, that so very many other people thought was a really good find. Just like my ex-boyfriend, my family members need to have an experience of that nature, where, albeit being super irritated, there needs to be so much praise being sung about me by others out there in the world that will observe what's going on with me, that even in their attempts or desires or future intentions to leave me to the side, abandon me as something worthy of being thrown away because I'm a chocolate girl, as opposed to a yellow bone, they will second guess themselves and they will realize what fools they are. And that despite how foolish they will have been, I will, just like I did with my ex-boyfriend, be the one to make the decision to get out, because this is not a stable relationship where this dude is so fluffy that all he's run by is the color of my skin and not so much the content of my character or even the fact that I'm beautiful, even though you imagine a dark-skinned girl cannot be beautiful. My family needs to be left the way that my ex-boyfriend was left, like high and dry, having to answer to his friends what happened to the tall model looking girl. Like, they need to wonder, okay, I am a middle child, alright? So I had an opportunity to be an older sister, and I also had an opportunity to be a younger sister. Younger to my older sister, older to my younger sister. There are roles that are played in both regards. When you're younger, you're just the annoying little sister that buys silly birthday presents because you can't afford to buy your older sister indeed what she wants because you don't have that kind of money. When you're older, you get to give sage counsel, you give wisdom, you pick up from school sporting events, you drop off at malls for people to go watch movies, you pick them up from the ice skating rink. When you're older, you discipline, you rebuke, you train up in wisdom, like I said, alright? I could have been both things, and for a long time I actually was. For a very long time, I was an excellent older sister to my little sister, who is 17 years younger than me. And I was, the irritating, annoying, you're always so needy, however absolutely adorable younger sister to my older sister, who is 2.5 years older than me. I got to be all those things, and it was fun for all of 5 seconds. It lasted with my older sister for as long as it would take for me to get born again. So basically in 2014 it all came to a blister, not 2014, 2011. It came to a blistering end, and then with my little sister it ended when she observed all the persecution all the mistreatment of my person, and she then decided that she's going to underestimate me instead of respect me. So I stopped being the sister picking people up at school. I stopped being the sister giving sage counsel. I stopped being the sister that was, driving to the nail salon, gametric dance. I stopped being that because I was no longer wanted. I rather got bullied by a kid. And then my older sister, she started to harass and throw me out the window like no man's business because I gave my life to Jesus. So now I'm no longer an older sister or a younger one. I'm just a freaking Cinderella, and I don't even understand how that happened. So may my mother and my sisters then be subjugated to the tyranny of indeed raising up one among them to be Cinderella. Cinderella gets married to a Prince Charming. She gets embraced by an entire kingdom of people that now take her as their princess or their queen. I need to be raised up before the rapture so that my mom would feel the loss of a daughter, so that my little sister would feel the loss of an older sister, and my older sister would feel the loss of a baby sister. They need to feel what under heaven it is that they have done, and they're not going to feel that after the rapture or even during the tribulation. My relatives are not going to feel the loss of me in the tribulation, and this is why. The tribulation is a terrible, tumultuous time, even shortly before the tribulation commences, because it is believed by some Bible scholars that it will take a couple of years, maybe months, before the tribulation starts after the rapture happens, right? Whenever it starts, it is going to be such a tumultuous time that people are not going to be having time to basically say, I told you so, to those that are left behind. They're going to be fighting for their lives. We're embracing Christ if that's what they will do, or embracing the Antichrist. The tribulation is a time where there's literally no opportunity for people to feel, yes, they will feel regret indeed for having rejected Jesus, but they will not be handled, do you understand what I'm saying, in a way that I stand to handle them on this side. And that's just the thing that I'm asking God to give me. My little sister needs to be able to see other kids her age absolutely dote around me, encircle me like I'm Santa at the mall, just trying to get advice. Look at me like a nice big older sister. Look at me like I've got so much wisdom and I'm such an excellent role model. She needs to have her peers, kids her age, look at me like I'm the best thing they ever found since sliced bread, and therefore be made to have a deep amount of regret because of that. Similarly too, my older sister needs to be dealt a bad blow by, older women than me, treating me like a wonderful find, one that needs to be taken care of, one that needs to be catered to, one that needs to be protected and covered, one whose back needs to be had. And my mom, well, she needs me to have some woman be like, oh my goodness, your daughter is so beautiful. Oh my goodness, your daughter is so smart. Oh my goodness, your daughter is such a great girl. Oh my god, etc. She needs to keep on getting told that, because I have noticed it. Yeah, Moja. It's actually already happening. Some of her friends that come here will say something about me that is positive, and she will act in the moment like she is content and cool with it, and I will notice that she is resentful of their praise of me once they leave. Once they leave, she gets hostile in a way that it's like she punishes me for being noticeably a great girl. That's what's been going on with my family. So I have to leave, such that all that my mother will be left with is praise being given her about her daughter, but from a vantage point where she is far away. Far away. I not only want to move out of here, but I want to move so far that it will take a lot out of my mom to call me to ask me to come over here and help her. She would much rather go and call my older sister or my younger sister, because currently she's trying to act as if though they are more reliable than me, which is a lie from the pit of hell.